I'm Trevor Turner. Once lost, now living on purpose. I know what it's like to feel locked out of your own potential. This show is for the ones who are ready to take their power back and write a new story, 1 hour at a time. You can do it. You can do anything, and you don't need permission. That's why I started the free hour, to give people the space to change their story, to remind them you are not your past, you are not your mistakes, you are not done, you are powerful. You can find freedom, you can find yourself, and you decide what happens next. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the free hour. It's your boy Trevor Turner. We're back with another video. We're back with another episode in our free hour ABCs, the ABCs of Tree, and this is our productivity series. First of all, I haven't been in front of the camera for a while. It's been about a month, I think, since we had the video with Joey. I mean, I put up something, a little quick update. I just did it from my phone earlier this week. But first and foremost, you know, I've been checking, man. We got like 360 subscribers. And, you know, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching any of my videos. Anybody who's watching any of my videos, any of the short videos, any of these longer ones like this, thank you so much. And if you've ever shared any of them, told any of your friends about them, thank you so much. But most importantly, if I have been able to help you in any type of way, if I have been able to, using my story and the things that I've learned, help you make any type of turn in your life, help you maybe kick it into the next gear, turn up a little bit, you know, I appreciate you taking the time and taking the chance on me in the first place. I don't know any other way to put it, man. I'm just, you know, I deal with and battle with the imposter syndrome, right, all the time. One of the things, though, is that, you know, I study this, I work my ass off, like trying to learn this stuff so that I can do my best to present it in the best way possible. So it's like when I'm talking about this stuff, I don't necessarily feel like I got the imposter syndrome, but then later on, I kind of feel like, you know, did I do that in the best way? Am I the best person to talk about this? And I have to really think about it like, nah, like I've changed so much. And, you know, I appreciate anybody who shows me that that adds value to what they're trying to do. All right? I just wanted to start out with that one. Thank you so much. We're back once again. This is our productivity series. This is where we align effort with purpose so that our time actually moves life forward. This is where we get into the activity that puts our mindfulness, our emotional intelligence, our goal setting, everything else that we've been talking about into action so that we can build a future that we're proud of, build a future that we don't have to be ashamed of, and realize and be okay with the fact that we are the ones who decide where our life goes, all right? And we've been talking about so many different topics, getting us ready for what it is that we're trying to do, right? I think that we found where we're trying to go. We found out what skills that we need to get there. We found out what actions lead us to there, knowing that, you know, like a small difference in what we do can end up in such a huge difference in our outcomes. So it's time to talk about leverage today. That's right. The letter L is for leverage. This is about doing less and producing more. This is about efficiency. This is especially true for people like me who are busy. We're trying to make something pop, make something happen with a backdrop of work, kids, family, school, bills, everything that we got going on. So we are normally having to utilize a very small window of time. That's why applying leverage is so important, because I think that we found out what it is that we're trying to do. I think by now we've kind of cultivated in ourselves, we've kind of cultivated our purpose in ourselves, we've kind of cultivated that attitude that our purpose is not for us, it's for other people. We've cultivated that interdependent mindset that comes from the 7 habits. We've cultivated the way we look at things, our perspective. We've cultivated like that effort, right? Like we're just like, okay, I'm ready to put in the work. And then we start putting in the work and we feel like we're spinning our wheels. We put in effort and we feel like our effort is not producing the results that equal out or are worth the effort that we're putting in. So now let's talk about how to make it even that much more efficient by using leverage. Because the problem is not that you're not working hard enough. I know that if you've been following along with the productivity series, and matter of fact, even the people who even started late, a lot of the people who are coming even now, you have been doing things and putting in effort in all the right places and in all the right ways, but you might be working on the wrong things. You might not be applying the effort in the right ways to get more results. Because we know what leverage means, right? Leverage means finding the way that we can apply the least amount of effort to get the most amount of results. It's like a lever, or a seesaw or something like that. Like if you're trying to be at the beginning of that seesaw and the person is at the end, you're not going to be able to lift them up. But if you're at the end and they're at the end, that's when you can start to balance things. If they're over here and you're at the end, your weight does so much more to push them up and down. It's about where you apply pressure. It's about how you apply pressure to get the most results possible. It's about knowing where to push the line. It's about knowing where to apply that effort. And see, me, I know about being exhausted. 100% I know about being exhausted. Before I was locked up, I was one of them people that people could say probably like, yeah, he was doing it. He was out there doing it. Like I was selling a really good product. I don't want to glorify it or nothing, but I was somebody who was like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was out there trying to get it. I was working. I was grinding. One of the things that happened with me though is that I found myself spinning my wheels. I found myself like putting in all of this work for a minimal amount of effort. And when I got out, even though the outcomes that I wanted had changed, my work ethic, my hustle, my drive, my ambition had not changed. And the problem is that I was doing it I was following the same type of tactics and techniques. I was putting in so much effort and trying to do these, all of these grand sweeping things or all of these little things, right, in ways that took so much out of me. That's why it was hard for me to find balance. That's why it's hard for me to sometimes keep up with everything, right? Because I wasn't applying the pressure in the right way, to the right spots, to the right times. I wasn't leveraging. I wasn't leveraging everything that I had at my disposal, right? Whether that be tools, whether that be skills, whether that be people, whether that be my schedule, my time, the things that I've learned, right? I just got in front of here and to what I thought was the best of my ability ended up just being me just trying hard just to try hard. Instead of trying hard in a way that would get me the most effective and the best results that I could get. I wasn't leveraging everything that I had learned. I was just kind of spinning my wheels. But see, leverage is the difference between grinding and building. I know how to grind. I've been grinding all my life. So that's why when I got out and I was chasing this brand new thing, I was just grinding. I wasn't utilizing the tools that I had got. Just like I just said, I wasn't utilizing all the knowledge that I got. I was just grinding. Like, okay, I want to make all these videos. I want to teach these people about this. I want to talk to these people about this. So let me go ahead and write up a full script. Let me get in front of this thing. Let me try my best to stick to it. I'm going to try my best to edit it later on. Not realizing that, okay, my editing skills have gotten better. I don't have to do that in the same way. My speaking skills have gotten better. I don't have to do that in the same way. The whole process, I've gotten better, but I was still doing it in the same way that was taking so much effort out of me. And then another thing is I know more people now. I wasn't using them. I wasn't tapping into that resource. And then also too, is that I wasn't improving other skills that could help supplement everything that I had. Leverage is effort multiplied. It's not laziness. It's not shortcuts. It's intelligent positioning. See, I thought that if I wasn't applying the same amount of effort, if I wasn't trying to get after it the way that I was before, if I wasn't running after this like I was used to run after other stuff, that I was being lazy, that I wasn't putting my everything into it. The problem is that I was missing out on a lot of great techniques and a lot of great strategies because I had to get back to that hustler mentality. That work hard, get hard results instead of working smarter and not just harder. Naval Ravikant, angel investor, entrepreneur thinker. Wealth and productivity come from leverage through code, media, systems, and people. Leverage lets your effort work even when you're not. One of the things that happens is that when you learn to apply the pressure in the right ways, things will open up for you in easier ways, quicker ways, smoother ways. You will find yourself transitioning into new rooms. You will find yourself in new areas of the thing that you're trying to chase when you start trying to apply leverage. So let's talk about the 3 types of leverage and what they are. Now that we know we know a little bit about what it is and how it's important, let's talk about how we apply it. Systems leverage. This is something I talk about all the time with the free hour, right? Is that hour a day of concentrated effort can make us so much better. Templates, routines, automation, repetition. One of the things that happens is that when we start to implement things in our lives, when we start to implement new things in our lives, ways to control our anger, ways to recognize our cues ways to recognize red and green flags, ways to streamline our processes and everything like that, is that we will find ourselves able to leverage these things and find templates for everything that it is that we do. Okay, I know that this area in my home is the best place for me to read and learn new things, master new skills. I know that this time is most conducive to it. I know that my family, my environment allows it the easiest at this time, right? So you leverage that. You leverage what you know and put it into a template. So it's like no matter what book it is you're reading, no matter what skill it is that you're learning, no matter what new thing you're injecting into your life or new wisdom, you put it in that same template. So it's like if I read in this corner at this time on these days, and I know that I'm going to be able to get the best out of it, if I take notes in this style, right? That means that I can apply this book to that template, this next book to that template. A lot of times after we get finished with that one book, we switch up our whole style. That's not leveraging. A lot of times what happens is routines, when we find a routine that works for us, we don't try to make that same type of routine apply to different types of activities. You can look at the way that you go to the gym in the same way that you look at your free hour. Monday I do chest or upper body or a push day. Tuesday I do a pull day or back, biceps. Wednesday I do some legs. Thursday I have off. Friday and Saturday I do it all over again, right? So that means that Monday I can work on mindfulness. Tuesday I can work on reading or skill mastery. Wednesday I can work on stretching, mobility, something for the longevity of my body. Thursday, I can take a day off. Friday, I can work on the thing that I'm building for my dream. Saturday, I can do the same. I can work on the grand sweeping things, right? I can split things up into routines the same way that I do at the gym, the same way that I do with anything else, right? I don't have to I need to finish this book this week before I can integrate anything else into my life. I don't have to do that. I can do routines in the same ways. Automation. For me, automation when it comes to trying to get the things that we need to get done is just having a schedule. It's time batching. It's about knowing when you are good at this, knowing when you are best at this, when you are going to get the most from your efforts out of these things, and making those things pop up on your phone at that time. Automate what you got going on. And then also using tools, especially with AI. We talk about AI all the time, right? In school or at work. AI is literally changing the world and how things go. Utilize AI tools to automate your work, to automate your improvement, to automate how you get better. If you are struggling through understanding how you can apply a book to yourself, why don't you turn it over to AI? Talk to the AI, let it get to know you, answer questions about you, and then guess what? You start putting the book in there and asking how it can implement you. You put in to AI, this is what I want my life to look like. These are my goals. These are my end dreams, everything. What does a day in the life of that person look like? What does a day in the life of a person who's trying to get there from where I'm at right now look like? That's automation. Utilizing the tools at your disposal. And then repetition. Repetition. I think this is one of the things that happens. We don't leverage repetition, right? We don't leverage the fact that if I read one book, that means I need to read another book. I need to keep reading. I need to keep doing different mindfulness techniques. I need to do my gratitude every day when I wake up. And what will happen is that the gratitude will get easier, so I'm not focusing on just little things and struggling to find them, but I'm finding really complex things that I can be grateful for right now, and grateful for things that are on the way, grateful for things that I know is coming. Same way we're going to the gym. You have to go to the gym over and over and over and over, and you have to be okay with the fact that you're going to have to repeat these things. And you have to leverage the fact that you know you're going to have to repeat things so you can set them up so you're not surprised when they come back around, so that you smoothly transition to all of these things. Automation and repetition kind of go hand in hand, because you know if you have to repeat activities day in, day out, week in, week out, work activities, activities that are building your dream, gym activities, reading activities, mindfulness activities. Guess what? Your phone every single day at the same time can pop up. Okay, this is what I'm doing right now. And you slide smoothly into it. You automate yourself and you automate your attitude. Next is skill leverage. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about talking about was developing rare and valuable skills. I want you to think about developing skills that are useful and unique, right? But I want you to think about the fact that there's nobody else that is you. You are the only you. No one else has your exact genetic or DNA makeup. Nobody else can do what you do in the way that you do it exactly. You cannot be repeated. You cannot be cloned. You cannot be imitated. So it's not only about developing the rare and valuable skill, but it's about cultivating the rare and valuable you. It's about finding what you're good at, that unique combination that is limited to you, and developing that set. It's about finding out, like, okay, like me, I love working out. I love talking about this stuff. I've been to prison and changed my life. But guess what? I also like playing Dungeons and Dragons. I also like playing Pathfinder. I also like playing tabletop RPGs. I also like playing video games. I also like working on the computers. I also like doing all of these different things. It's a whole bunch of different stuff that adds up together to make the patchwork or the puzzle that is me, that is Trevor, that is Tree. So how do I develop that into the rare and valuable skill, right? And one of the things for me is school. School, trade school, apprenticeship programs, learning how to do things, YouTube University. When I first changed the alternator on a Lexus, guess how I learned how to do it? On YouTube. But the thing is, I didn't just dive into it and try to do it on my own. I took the time to develop. Okay, this is what I'm good at. This is what I like to do. Where does this fit? Okay, how do I do that? How do I make it better? And then you start to stack your skills. You start to stack your skills in a way that makes sense, in a way where they work together, in a way where they build off of each other and create this unique outcome, this unique equation that only you can provide because of the way that you are and because no one else is like you. And then improve 1% daily. There's a book called Atomic Habits, and he talks about how Pat Riley was telling his team, I think he was the coach of the Lakers at the time, Showtime Lakers. And forgive me if I'm saying the coach's name wrong. I'm trying to quote this book. I haven't read it in a minute, right? But one of the things that he did is he took different statistics from different things and different skill sets and different stuff that these players were really good at. And he said, no, I just want you to take one thing and I want you to improve on it by 1%. And then once you've improved by 1%, I want you to improve by 1% on this, and then that, and then that, until everything that you're good at has improved upon by 1%. Even the things you're lacking in a little bit, but the things that you still contribute, improve everything by 1%. And then we talk about Cal Newport with deep work. Deep, uninterrupted work compounds skill value. If you know there's something that you're good at, that you enjoy doing, that you like, you need to get an outside perspective and find something that can make that skill just that much better every single week, month, year, whatever. Now, as you get more and more advanced in these skills, the time that it takes to get that 1% better, it is going to increase. But you always have to be chasing growth. Always have to be chasing growth. And then 3 is network leverage. We talk about collaboration, delegation, community. One of the things about Think and Grow Rich talks about a mastermind group. It's finding a group of like-minded individuals that want the same things that you want and working together to get to that common goal. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People talks about the highest form of the highest concept of life that we can be on, or whatever the case, is interdependence. It's not independence, and it's not complete dependence, it's interdependence. That means that you are your own whole person and you can stand up on your own, but you still need other people to get just that much further. It's about finding win-win situations where I get what I need, I get what I want, I win, but that person does also. One of the things that we have to realize is that the resources are not that scarce, that somebody needs to win and somebody has to lose. We can both win. That's something that I've noticed about certain types of societies, is that we have a really individualistic streak, right? We think somebody has to lose for us to win. When we see other people winning, we get threatened. We think that they're like winning at our expense, and that's just not how it goes. We can win and somebody else can win. We can collaborate instead of compete. And then delegation is letting go of the things that you love and the things that you know you can do really well to somebody who can do them almost as well as you can. When you're trying to start a business, when you're trying to start a venture, when you're trying to start something, right? Like, I know that I can get on this camera and do really well and talk about the things that I want to talk about, tell my stories and all that other stuff. But if I find somebody else who can do it even a fraction as good as me, I'm getting them in front of this camera. If I find somebody who can edit these things up really good, I'm getting them behind that computer screen. If I find somebody else who can do any of the things that I am trying to do and trying to build just as good as I can, not even just as good as I can, but like close to, they're getting in position to do those things. Not doing everything alone. It's about having other people with you. It's about having other people help you. It's about having other people help build your dream while you're helping to build their dreams also. Now let's talk about why most people avoid leverage. When we talk about the last one, it's ego. Wanting to do it all. Wanting to get all the credit. Wanting your name to be the only name attached to it. I'll give you an example of this situation at work. You know, I got this guy, my guy Brian. So I teach a class called Seeking Safety. It's a substance abuse class. We are creating an intake process that is specific for this class, because up until now, we've only had people slide through from case management, right? They've already done intakes and everything already in the program. Now we're getting to the point where we're having people just come in without going through case management. So we need to do an intake process. So I have a few guys there who are doing their trainings and stuff so that they can become qualified to teach this class. They're observing the class, they're observing the intakes, they're observing all these things. And I had one guy say, like, hey man, you know, I want to help you make this intake. Like, let's do it. Okay, great. So he helped me with a whole bunch of stuff in creating this intake, right? And then I told someone, like, yeah, me and Brian are working on it together. And they were like, oh, no, you got to be careful. Like, it should just be yours. It should be your baby, this, that, whatever. And I'm like, it still is my baby. I'm just having Brian help raise the motherfucker, right? Like, I don't see any reason why we both can't win and why we both can't have ourselves lifted up for doing a good job. Now, other people see it as a threat to my advancement in the company. And my thing is that that's where that ego comes in. It's really just fear. It's a fear of letting go. It's a fear of letting go of responsibilities, a fear of letting go of the possible benefits of getting this stuff. But then it's also a fear of letting go of all of that level of tiny, minute control over everything. When you delegate stuff, when you automate things, when you hand over control to an AI tool, when you hand over control of your day to your schedule, to an assistant, whatever the case may be, you feel like you're losing that little bit of control, and you might just be getting tossed around by the winds of whatever's going on of your environment. And that's not really the case. You're just putting yourself in a position to leverage your skills to the best of your ability. And then having that short-term mindset. Having a short-term mindset where it's like you just do everything as it comes. You don't have yourself set up to where you can batch things, where you can program your days, where you can delegate things. You just handle things as they come. It's like you're running around putting out fires, and that's all you do, because you can't think beyond later today. You can't think beyond the next paycheck. You can't think beyond this one project that you're working on. So when that one project happens, and now you're worried about the next project, and then you're worried about the next project, and next thing you know, 5 years have gone by, and you haven't improved on anything. You haven't done anything different. You haven't built anything outside of work. And then overvaluing busyness. I think one of the things that happens is this, and this comes from having a lot of people thinking that micromanagement is the best form of management, like in companies and stuff, right? They got to come in there and they got to see you typing away, or they got to see you digging with the shovel. They got to see you doing something. They have to see you moving, right? They can't see you thinking about something. They can't see you processing something. They can't see you trying to figure out how this can be done in a better way. They don't like the fact that you say, okay, look, I know that this process is supposed to take 2 hours. I shortened it to an hour, and I got it to where it's easy to do, and we could just do this and fill these and knock these tables out, and I got this automation done and everything, so that frees up an extra hour. Okay, but now you're not busy. And the thing is just because when you're spending that time that you have decided to trade for the money that you need to live and survive, to build somebody else's dream, however they want to run it is however they want to run it. But don't you dare on your off time, after 5 o'clock, after you get home, decide to do it in the same way for yourself. They empower you and enable you to milk every job, so do whatever you got to do when you're getting that 20-something, 30-something an hour, right? And you're milking it for all it's worth. Because you know that if you get done with this 2-hour thing in an hour, then they're going to expect every 2-hour thing to take an hour. They're just going to give you more work and more work and more work. And the quicker you get done with it, the more responsibility you get without getting the bump in pay. Okay, that's fine. Milk it the way that you want to. Look busy how you want to. But don't you dare when you get home look busy for your own dreams, for your own goals. Automate, delegate, figure out the best way to get these things done like that. Work smarter, not harder for yourself. Don't overvalue that busyness. I was addicted to being busy. I was driving around all over town. I was making 30 stops a day, minimum. Making what equated to minimum wage, because I wanted to be busy instead of waiting for the big ones to come, the big orders to come in. I wanted to be moving. I wanted to be getting stuff done. I do the same things at work. I find myself, I'm just busy. I'm just getting all of this little stuff done, and I find myself getting overwhelmed. So now when the big projects come or these audits come, it's like, oh my God, I can't think past it, because it's just, I have to be busy. But busy is not the same as effective. So ask yourself, what tasks repeat weekly? What can be templated? What skill would change everything for you if you just took the time to master it? And where are you overworking instead of systematizing for yourself? So we talked about keystone habits, seeking knowledge. We talked about all that stuff. Now leverage all of those keystone habits. Effort matters, but positioned effort changes everything. Find one area where you can replace effort with leverage this week. Look, stop trying to do more, stop trying to just be busy, and start trying to multiply. especially when it comes to the things that we are working on for ourselves. The productivity series is not about how to be a better worker. It's not about how to be a better cog in the system. It is not about how to be a better slave for the 9 to 5 when you're building somebody else's dream. The productivity series is how we build the things that we are wanting to build in that small window of time outside of work, outside of school, outside of dealing with family, when we are trying to really change and revolutionize our life. That is what the productivity series is about. So where can you systematize that? The same way that every time you go into a job, they have an SOP for everything that you're supposed to do. They have a standard operating procedure. They have a way that you do things. You need to be doing that for yourself. That's what leverage is. You need to leverage the fact that, okay, there's a way to go about doing these things. There's a way to have myself set up. There's a way to position myself and enable myself and empower myself. There's ways for me to do these things, and that's what leverage is about. Multiply. All right? So think about those questions. What skills would change everything if you master them? What tasks repeat weekly that you can automate, that you can batch? Where can you let go? Where can you delegate? Where can you transition? Where can you pivot? Where can you apply the pressure that will get you the most bang for your buck? All right? Like I said, it's been a little minute. Hopefully this one wasn't too bad. Hopefully it helps. Let me know what you think about it, obviously. And then, I'll see y'all next time. All right? It's your boy Trevor Turner. ABCs of Productivity. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Deuces.